Today, we dive into one of the most surprising and heartbreaking turns in the life of a legendary American war hero and Hollywood actor. Well, peel back the curtain on the mystery surrounding Audie Murphy, the man the world hailed as a symbol of courage. But what if I told you? The truth we've uncovered about him isn't as golden as history made it seem. Stay with me, because this mystery is revisited and finally understood. Most people remember Audie Murphy as the fearless soldier who climbed onto a burning tank destroyer in France and fired back at advancing German tanks alone, outnumbered, and wounded until reinforcements arrived. That act made him a national hero, a legend, and the most decorated soldier in American history. But behind the medals and the movie posters lies a much darker story. One buried beneath decades of silence, trauma, and forgotten records. Today, we're uncovering the truth, the mystery that has finally been solved, and I'll warn you now, it isn't good. Let's unpack what really happened.
Governor Perry awarded the state's highest military honor to a late East Texas war hero.
America's most decorated soldier of World War II, Audie Murphy, used to refer modestly to himself as a fugitive from the law of averages.
I am Audie Murphy, the sister of Audie L. Murphy, the most decorated hero of World War II.
Audie Murphy, the most decorated man of World War II, who went on to become a movie star, was found dead this afternoon in the wreckage of a light plane in the hills of Virginia.
Audie Leon Murphy was born on the 20th of June, 1925 in Kingston, Texas. He wasn't born into greatness, he was born into poverty. The son of a sharecropper, one of 12 children, in a family that could barely afford shoes. By the time he was in 5th grade, he had dropped out of school to pick cotton and hunt rabbits, anything to help him feed his brothers and sisters. When World War II broke out, Murphy was still just a small, skinny boy and desperate to serve. He tried to enlist in the Marines, the Navy, even the paratroopers, but every branch turned him down for being underweight and underage. Finally, on his 18th birthday, the U.S. Army accepted him. And from there, history took over. Audie fought across Sicily, Italy, and France, surviving battle after battle. He was shot, wounded, and concussed, and yet he refused to stop fighting. By the end of the war, his bravery had earned him every major combat award the United States could give, including the Medal of Honor. He was hailed as the embodiment of valor, the little guy who stood tall against impossible odds. But as the cheers faded and the medals gathered dust, Audie found himself haunted by something that no award could silence. When the war ended, America saw Murphy as invincible, a living legend. But deep down, he was falling apart. Hollywood came calling, and he took it. At first, it looked like a happy ending. He starred in more than 40 films, mostly westerns, and even played himself into Hell and Back, the movie based on his own wartime memoir. Audie became a movie star, a celebrity, a household name, but no camera could film the war he still carried inside. Murphy became addicted to sleeping pills. He battled insomnia and depression. He distanced himself from the fame and the people around him. The man America worshipped as a hero was quietly drowning in silence. And as the years went on, that silence turned into anger. Then came 1970, the year that shattered the image of America's war hero. It started small. A misunderstanding, a favor gone wrong involving something as innocent as a dog. Audie had given a German Shepherd puppy to a woman named Maria Doria. She later took the dog to a trainer. But something went wrong and she accused the trainer of abusing the animal. When Murphy heard about it, he was furious. He decided to confront the man himself. But what should have been a simple conversation turned into chaos. Witnesses say Murphy arrived at the trainer's home armed with a gun. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, and in the heat of the moment, a shot was fired. In seconds, the hero became the accused. No one was killed, but the damage was done. Within days, the headlines broke. War hero Audie Murphy, arrested for assault with intent to commit murder. America's golden boy in handcuffs. Murphy insisted it was self-defense, that he was protecting a woman from danger. But the rumors spread faster than the truth. 2 weeks later, he was formally charged. For the first time in his life, Murphy wasn't the hero. He was the accused. The case shocked the public, and Hollywood quietly distanced itself. In court, the details blurred. Testimonies clashed. Eventually, he was cleared. The judge ruled there wasn't enough evidence to convict. But the story never fully disappeared. It lingered like a whisper behind every interview, every newspaper profile, every fan letter, and decades later, that whisper became a revelation. Recently, historians and researchers have gone back through police files, old news clippings, and transcripts from that 1970 case. And what they found paints a far more complicated picture, because truth rarely fits the stories we want to believe. Murphy's actions that night weren't as clean as they once seemed. Yes, he may have been trying to help a friend, but witnesses described him as angry, unpredictable, and armed. The confrontation was not spontaneous. He had sought the man out and he came prepared. In other words, the mystery of Audie Murphy's fall from grace has finally been pieced together. He wasn't a villain, but he wasn't blameless either. He was a man scarred by war, living in a world that didn't understand how to treat those scars. The discovery forces us to confront a truth we rarely want to face, that even our greatest heroes can be consumed by the battles they fought long after the war was over. So why does all this matter? Because it reminds us how fragile the line is between legend and reality. The truth about Audie Murphy isn't bad because it ruins his reputation. It's bad because it exposes the cost of the myth. The myth of heroism says our champions never falter, never doubt, never break. But Murphy's life proves otherwise. He was brave, yes, but bravery doesn't erase trauma. He was honorable, but honor doesn't protect you from pain. He was loved, but love alone couldn't save him from himself. This is what history often hides, that behind every headline of glory terrors a private war being fought in silence. Murphy's story shows us how society fails its heroes. The medals, the movies, the applause, they meant nothing when he couldn't sleep, when he couldn't find peace, when he couldn't escape his own memories. And that's why the truth isn't good, because it's real. In the end, life caught up with him. By 1971, Murphy's finances were struggling. His acting career was slowing down. Had withdrawn from Hollywood quietly, now tired, worn out. Then, on May 28, 1971, he boarded a small private plane in bad weather. Maybe he hoped the sky would give him peace, one last time. The flight never made it to its destination. It crashed into a Virginia mountainside. There were no survivors. Audie Murphy was only 45. His body was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery, one of the most visited graves in America. Even today, people leave flowers, medals, and handwritten notes. And maybe that's fitting. Audie Murphy was, in every sense, both a symbol and a warning, a reminder of what war can do to the human spirit. So what do we take away from the Audie Murphy mystery now that it's finally solved? That history isn't black and white. It isn't clean, and it certainly isn't perfect. Real heroes don't just win battles, they also fight the invisible ones inside. Yes, but he was also human. He carried pain. He made mistakes. He was broken in ways the world refused to see. And maybe that's the real lesson here, that the bravest thing any soldier can do is survive the peace that follows.